I came home early that Wednesday. It was supposed to be a good thing. My project had wrapped up ahead of schedule, and my boss told me to take the rest of the afternoon off. The rain was light, barely a drizzle, and the streets were empty. When I pulled into my driveway, I saw it. Troy's truck, parked right there on the curb. I thought maybe he was helping Sarah with something around the house again. I opened the front door. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Sarah's purse was tossed on the couch. Her heels were scattered on the floor. Then I heard it. Laughter. Soft, coming from upstairs. My heart started pounding. I walked up those stairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. My hand was shaking when I reached for the bedroom door. It was open just a crack. I pushed it. What I saw that night did not just break my heart. It tore apart everything I thought I knew about family loyalty and the people who were supposed to love me most. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. If this story hits home for you, go ahead and hit that like button. And subscribe, because you will want to hear how this whole thing played out. Now let me take you back to the beginning, to when everything still felt perfect. 3 years. That is how long Sarah and I had been married when everything fell apart. We met in college, back when life was simple. She had this smile that could light up a room. We dated for 6 years before I finally proposed. I remember the night I asked her. We were at this little Italian place downtown, the one with the candles on every table. She cried when she said yes. Happy tears, she told me. I believed her. Our life together was good. I worked at an architecture firm in the city. The job was stable, the pay was decent, and I was on track for a promotion. Sarah stayed home most days. She loved cooking, always trying out new recipes. Our house was this small 2-story place in the suburbs. We had bought it the year before, saved up for the down payment together. It had a little backyard, a front porch, and a neighborhood that was quiet. We talked about starting a family. Maybe next year, we said. There was no rush. We had time. Or so I thought. Troy was my cousin. We grew up together. His mom and my mom were sisters, and when we were kids, we spent every summer at our grandmother's house. We played basketball in her driveway. We stayed up late watching movies. Troy was 2 years older than me, and I looked up to him. He was the kind of guy everyone liked. Charming, funny, always had a story to tell. Our family adored him, my mom especially. She always said Troy was the perfect nephew. About 6 months before everything happened, Troy went through a divorce. His wife left him. I never got all the details, but I knew he was struggling. My mom felt terrible for him. She started inviting him over for dinner, making sure he was eating, making sure he was okay. I felt bad for him too. So I did what I thought was the right thing. I invited him to our place. Sarah would cook, we would all sit around the table, and we would talk. Troy seemed grateful. He thanked us every time. He said we were helping him get through the hardest time of his life. I thought I was being a good cousin. I thought I was being a good person. Looking back now, I can see the signs. I just did not want to believe them. About 2 months before I walked in on them, Sarah started acting different. She was on her phone more. She would be texting someone, smiling at the screen, and when I asked who it was, she would say it was just a friend from her book club. I did not push it. I trusted her. She also started going to the gym more often. She bought new workout clothes, new shoes. I thought she was just taking better care of herself. I even told her she looked great. I encouraged it. There was this one afternoon I came home early from work. I walked into the kitchen, and there they were, Sarah and Troy, sitting at the table, drinking coffee, laughing about something. When I walked in, they both looked up. Troy smiled and said he had stopped by to ask Sarah for her grilled chicken recipe. He wanted to try cooking more at home. Sarah nodded, said she was happy to help. I did not think twice about it. I even asked Troy to stay for dinner. He did. We ate together, we talked. Everything seemed normal. Another time I came home and saw Troy's truck parked outside. When I walked in, Sarah said he had come over to fix the leaky faucet in the kitchen sink. I thanked him. I shook his hand. I told him I owed him one. He waved it off, said it was no big deal. Said that is what family does. I believed him. I believed all of it. Then came that Wednesday in September. The day that changed everything. I left work at 3 in the afternoon. Normally I would not be home until 6. The rain had started light and steady. The roads were clear. I drove home feeling good. I was thinking about surprising Sarah, maybe taking her out to dinner. When I pulled up, I saw Troy's truck. My first thought was not suspicion. It was just, oh, Troy is here again. Maybe he needed something. Maybe Sarah invited him over for coffee. I opened the front door. The house was silent. Sarah's purse was on the couch, thrown there like she had been in a hurry. Her heels were on the floor, one lying on its side. I called out her name. No answer. Then I heard it, a soft laugh, coming from upstairs, from our bedroom. My stomach dropped. I do not know why, but I knew. Something in me just knew. I walked to the stairs. Each step felt like it took forever. My hands were cold. My heart was beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. I reached the top of the stairs. Our bedroom door was open just slightly. I put my hand on the doorknob. I pushed it open. And right there in the bed, Sarah and I had picked out together in the room where we had talked about our future. I saw them. My wife, my cousin. Together. I stood there. I could not move. I could not speak. My brain could not process what my eyes were seeing. Sarah screamed. She grabbed the blanket, pulled it up to cover herself. Troy jumped up, scrambling for his clothes. His face was red. He looked at me, opened his mouth like he was going to say something, but nothing came out. I just stood there frozen. Sarah started crying. She said, "My name, Lamar." Her voice was shaking. She said, "Please let me explain." I shook my head. I could not look at her. I looked at Troy. He was pulling his shirt on, fumbling with the buttons. He said, "Look, man, I am sorry. We did not mean for this to happen." I cut him off. I said, do not say anything." My voice was calm. Too calm. I turned around. I walked back down the stairs. Sarah was behind me, still crying, still talking. She was saying, "Lamar, please do not leave. We can talk about this." I did not respond. I grabbed my keys off the counter. I walked out the front door. The rain was heavier now. I got in my car. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the key in the ignition. I looked in the rearview mirror. I saw Troy walking out of the house, getting into his truck, driving away. I sat there for a minute. Then I started the car. I drove. I did not know where I was going. I just drove. I ended up at a hotel near the airport. I checked in. I did not have anything with me. No clothes, no toothbrush, nothing. I just needed to be away from that house. I sat on the edge of the bed in that hotel room. The TV was on, but I was not watching it. I was staring at the wall. My phone kept buzzing. Texts from Sarah, calls from my mom, calls from Troy. I did not answer any of them. I turned the phone off. I sat there in the dark. I thought about everything. 3 years of marriage. 6 years before that. 9 years total with Sarah. And it all came down to this. Her and Troy. In our bed, I felt sick. I went to the bathroom and threw up. Then I sat on the floor. I do not know how long I stayed there. Hours, maybe. I did not cry. I could not. I just felt empty. I stayed at that hotel for 3 nights. On the 4th day, I called my best friend Marcus. I told him what happened. He did not believe me at first. He said, "Are you serious, Troy? Your cousin Troy?" When I said yes, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Man, I am so sorry. Come stay with me." So I did. Marcus lived alone in a 1-bedroom apartment downtown. He gave me his couch. He did not ask a lot of questions. He just let me be. He would sit with me, hand me a beer, and we would watch whatever was on TV. He was the only person who did not try to tell me what to do. He just listened. After a week, I knew I had to face Sarah. I could not avoid it forever. I sent her a text. I said we needed to talk. She responded immediately. She said, "Yes, please, anytime." I told her to meet me at a coffee shop on 5th Street, neutral ground. somewhere I could leave if I needed to. She was already there when I arrived. She looked terrible. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked like she had not slept. She stood up when she saw me. She started to say something, but I held up my hand. I said, "Just sit down." We sat across from each other. She was crying before I even said a word. I asked her how long it had been going on. She looked down at her hands. She said, 2 months. 2 months. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. I asked her how it started. She said it was an afternoon when Troy came over. They were talking. She said she felt lonely. She said I was working so much. She said she and Troy just connected. I stopped her. I said, "Do not blame this on me. I was working to build a future for us, for our family." She nodded. She said she knew. She said it was not an excuse. She said she did not know how it happened. It just did. I asked her if she loved him. She did not answer right away. She looked at me and then she said, "I do not know. I am confused." That was the moment I knew it was over. If she had said no, if she had said it meant nothing, maybe I could have tried, but she did not. She was confused. She did not know if she loved him. I stood up. I said, "I am going to file for divorce." She grabbed my arm. She said, "Lamar, please, we can fix this. We can go to therapy. We can work through it." I pulled my arm away. I said, "No. You destroyed this. There is nothing left to fix." I walked out. She did not follow me this time. I thought that was the worst of it. I thought the hardest part was over. I was wrong. What came next hurt even more. I went to see my parents. It was a Saturday morning. I drove to their house, the house I grew up in. My mom opened the door. She smiled when she saw me, but it faded when she saw my face. She asked what was wrong. I told her we needed to talk. My dad was in the living room reading the newspaper. They both sat down. I stood. I told them everything. I told them about walking in on Sarah and Troy. I told them about the hotel, about Marcus, about the meeting with Sarah. My mom put her hand over her mouth. My dad set the newspaper down. For a moment, neither of them said anything. Then my mom spoke. She said, "Lamar, you know Troy is going through a really hard time right now." I stared at her. I said what she said, the divorce was hard on him. He is not thinking clearly. I could not believe what I was hearing. I said, "So that makes it okay. That makes it okay for him to sleep with my wife." My dad stood up. He said, "Nobody is saying it is okay, Lamar. But what is done is done. You need to think about the family." I said, "I am thinking about my family with Sarah." My mom shook her head. She said, "Sarah is a good girl. She made a mistake. People make mistakes. You can work through this." I felt my blood boiling. I said, "You call this a mistake? She cheated on me with my cousin." My dad raised his voice. He said, "Do not yell at your mother. Listen, Lamar. Troy is your aunt's son. He is family. Sarah is our daughter-in-law. You cannot just walk away and tear everything apart." I looked at them like I did not know who they were. I said, "What do you want me to do? Forgive them, pretend it never happened." My mom said, "We want you to think carefully. Do not destroy the peace in this family because you are angry." I could not believe it. I said, "You are taking their side." "You are actually taking their side." Neither of them answered. That told me everything I needed to know. I walked out of that house. I did not look back. The next day, Troy called me. I almost did not answer, but I did. He said, "I know I messed up, but your parents talked to me. They think we should meet. Work this out like family. I lost it." I said, "Work this out. You think you can sleep with my wife, and then we will just sit down and work it out?" He said, "I am sorry, Lamar. I really am. But the family does not want this to blow up." I said, "You should have thought about that before you did what you did." I hung up. Over the next few days, I got texts and calls from other family members. My aunt, my uncle, cousins, all of them saying the same thing. "Do not make this a big deal. Family comes first. Think about your parents." I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was the one being punished. Marcus was the only one who understood. He said, "Man, you do not owe them anything. You do what is right for you." So I did. I made the decision. I was not going to forgive Sarah, I was not going to forgive Troy, and I was not going to let my parents guilt me into staying quiet. I found a lawyer. Her name was Angela Porter. She was in her 40s, sharp, no nonsense. I sat in her office and told her everything. She listened, took notes, and when I was done, she looked at me and said, "We are going to make sure you get what you deserve." I filed for divorce. The papers were drawn up and served to Sarah within a week. She called me. She was crying. She said, "Lamar, please do not do this." I said, "It is already done. You made your choice. Now I am making mine." I also cut off Troy. I blocked his number. I blocked him on every social media platform. I did not want to see his face. I did not want to hear his voice. As for my parents, I went to see them one more time. I said, "I love you both, but you did not stand by me when I needed you most. I need time. And I will not be attending any family gatherings if Troy is there. That is my boundary." My mom cried. My dad looked angry, but I did not back down. I meant what I said. I moved out of Marcus's place and into a small one-bedroom apartment closer to my job. It was not much, but it was mine. I focused on work. I threw myself into projects. I stayed late at the office. I did not want to think about Sarah or Troy or my parents. I just wanted to move forward. The divorce took 4 months. Sarah fought me on the house. She wanted to keep it, but Angela was relentless. She argued that since we had both contributed to the down payment and the mortgage, the house should be sold and the proceeds split. The judge agreed. Sarah also tried to ask for spousal support. Angela shut that down too. We had no kids. We had been married for 3 years. There was no basis for it. When the final papers were signed, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It was over. I was free. Sarah tried to reach out a few times after that. She sent me letters. She sent emails. I did not respond. I heard through the grapevine that she and Troy did not stay together. Apparently, whatever they had fell apart just as quickly as it started. I did not care. It was not my problem anymore. I had moved on. Winning that divorce was not about money or the house. It was about taking back my dignity. It was about saying no to people who thought they could use me, betray me, and then expect me to just get over it. The first few months after the divorce were hard. I would be lying if I said I was fine right away. There were nights I could not sleep. Nights I would replay everything in my head. I started seeing a therapist. Her name was Dr. Helen Frost. She was older, calm, and she did not judge. She helped me understand that what Sarah and Troy did was not about me. It was about them. Their choices, their flaws. She taught me that I did not need to carry their guilt. I was not responsible for their betrayal. That was a hard lesson to learn, but it helped. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped wondering what I could have done differently. I realized that no matter what I had done, if they were going to betray me, they would have found a way. I started taking better care of myself. I joined a gym. I went running every morning. I started eating better. I even joined a hiking club. Every weekend we would drive out to different trails and spend the day in the mountains. It was peaceful. It cleared my head. I met new people. People who did not know anything about my past. To them I was just Lamar, a guy who liked hiking and architecture. It felt good to be seen that way. To not be the guy whose wife cheated on him. To not be the guy whose family turned their backs on him. Just Lamar. About a year after the divorce, my mom called me. It was the first time we had spoken in months. She said she wanted to apologize. She said she had been thinking a lot about what happened. She said she was wrong. She should have stood by me. She should have supported me. I listened. I did not interrupt. When she was done, I said, "I appreciate that, Mom, but I need more time, and my boundary still stands. I will not be around Troy." She said she understood. She said the family had not invited Troy to gatherings anymore. She said they realized what he did was unforgivable. I did not know if that was true, but I appreciated her saying it. Slowly, I started visiting my parents again. Not often, but sometimes. My dad did not say much, but one day he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "You did the right thing, son." That meant more to me than I expected. 2 years after the divorce, my life looked completely different. I got promoted at work. I was leading a big project designing a new office building downtown. It was the kind of opportunity I had been working toward for years. I had a solid group of friends. Marcus was still my best friend, but I had met others too. People from the hiking club, people from work. I was not lonely anymore. I was not angry anymore. I was just living. I started dating casually. Nothing serious. I was not ready for that yet. But I met a woman named Jasmine through the hiking club. She was funny, easygoing, and she did not push me for anything. We went on a few dates. We talked, we laughed. It was nice. I was not in a rush. I had learned my lesson. Trust takes time. Love takes time. And I was okay with that. Looking back on everything, I do not regret leaving Sarah. I do not regret cutting off Troy. And I do not regret setting boundaries with my parents. Because at the end of the day, I had to live with myself. And I could not live with myself if I let people walk all over me. If I let them betray me, and then act like I was the problem for not getting over it. I learned that betrayal says more about the person who betrays you than it does about you. I learned that family is not always right. Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, even when no one else will. I learned that forgiveness does not mean accepting bad behavior. It means letting go of the anger so you can move forward. And I did move forward. I built a life I am proud of, a life that is mine. I do not hate Sarah anymore. I do not hate Troy. I do not even think about them most days. They are part of my past, and that is where they will stay. My parents and I have a relationship now, but it is different. It will never be what it was before, and that is okay. Some bridges once burned cannot be rebuilt the same way. But I have peace. I have freedom. I have myself. And that is enough. So, if you are out there dealing with betrayal, dealing with people who tell you to just get over it, remember this. Your peace matters more than their comfort. Always. If this story resonated with you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you found value in this story, hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe if you have not already, because I will keep sharing real stories about real life. Thank you for listening. I hope you find your peace, whatever that looks like for you. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.